All right, thank you. It is 7 o'clock. Welcome to the Bedminster Township Committee meeting of August 16th. We have a full attendance in person by the Bedminster Township Committee. Ms. Sullivan, I'm gonna say, Ms. Ray.
Sure. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News, Somerville, Burnsville News, Whippany, and to all subscribers, and posted at the Township Municipal Building on January 7th, 2021.
Thank you, Ms. Ray.
Thank you.
Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so as we've been doing since the start of the pandemic, go through the COVID numbers for Bedminster. So as of August 16, Bedminster is reporting 455 cases. And once again, these are cases that have been reported from the beginning. And these are the confirmed cases through the PCR tests. They do not count the rapid tests. That 455 is up from the 442 from our August 2nd meeting. We don't have a breakdown if that is attributed to the Delta variant. That may be, may not be. That's not data that is provided to us. But certainly the Delta variant is with us. And once again, suggest that everyone remain vigilant and certainly contemplate getting vaccinated. And for vaccinations, just want to go over the vaccination numbers as well. So for the vaccination rates, and these are Bedminster rates, and these come from the state website. So for all ages in Bedminster, those who have received one dose, that's 72% of the Bedminster population. All ages fully vaxxed, that's 66%. Both of those are up 1 percentage point from our last meeting. 18 and over, 82% have received one dose, 75% fully vaccinated. 30 and over, 82% fully vaccinated, 76%. 65 and over with one dose, 102% fully vaccinated, 97%. So I've talked about this before. The state numbers are based on census data from 2010, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. And then the state projects based upon the number of vaccinations that are tied to the area zip code. The numbers are not foolproof. No, I do not believe that 102% of Bedminster residents 65 and over have received one dose. But we look at this from a relative standpoint that it's an indication that folks are getting vaccinated in Bedminster, and that's a good thing. And to some extent, maybe that attributes what is a relatively low confirmed case rate in Bedminster as well. So let's hope those numbers still continue to bear out. So on vaccination, I received a call last week, actually it was a week and a half ago. No, I'm sorry, it was last week. It was last week from the county talking about the availability for the Bedminster, for the Far Hills Bedminster Fire Department, for the firehouse to be used for COVID booster shots. Not that they've been approved yet, but anticipating that they may be approved. The county health department, and the call actually came from the prosecutor's office, John Fodor from the prosecutor's office, asking my thoughts on whether or not the firehouse would be a good facility if booster shots are run by the county to do booster shots, administer them at the firehouse. Got into talking with John a little bit further and said, you know, we've been trying to really reach out to the county on flu shots and COVID shots. And at one point we had offered up the farmer's market. Because if you're looking to get folks out there or to get folks with exposure to what the county is offering, when we ran flu shots at essentially we ran them in Miller Lane, so right across from the firehouse. We got about, I don't know, 19, 20, maybe 20 plus flu shots for that morning. And I mentioned to John Fodor that the farmer's market by itself, we can deliver you between 750 and 900 plus folks going through in a Saturday. And if we have the opportunity to promote it a little bit further, maybe we can direct some more traffic to the vaccination. Now, certainly the county's strategy is they know full well that in the county and certainly looking at Bedminster, we're at 72% of the population with one dose or fully vaccinated, 66% of the population. You know, it's that last 30% is awful hard to get, right? You got some who simply just don't want it. They're never going to get it. It's period. Others are going to be in the position it's just not convenient for me to get to. And to some extent, there may be cultural issues at stake with taking a vaccine. We got all folks coming through the farmer's market, and the county said, hold on for 1 second. So John said, hold on for 1 second. Comes back. Mayor, we've got an opportunity coming up to do COVID shots. How about in a week and a half? I said, great. So we reached out to Neil Mastrobuono over at Farmers Market Manager and Rec Director. And we're on for this Saturday, August 16th, administering both, well, your choice of Johnson & Johnson or the Moderna vaccine. So folks can come right to the farmer's market. County will be set up with a mobile vaccination van and can have the vaccine administered super convenient right there. And we will be promoting it through all Bedminster social media, through our website, through the farmer's market posts, through the Bedminster post, through the Bedminster PD posts. Gina, if I could ask of you, we do have an announcement. If you could help us work, maybe do a little translation into Spanish for us.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd like to get that out as well. That it's going to be out there. It's going to be administered. It's going to be free. You don't have to be a Bedminster resident. You don't even have to be a county resident. Show up and you'll get your opportunity. So once again, we are not pushing it. We are, well, pushing it a little bit. We're not mandating it, certainly. But to folks who want to get the vaccine, and I found that going to some of the other locations is not convenient. Come on down to River Road, Saturday, August 21st, and you have your opportunity. Issue came up about if we're doing Moderna, or folks are getting the Moderna, can they come back for a second shot? My thought is if there's enough folks who do get the Moderna at the farmer's market, we can certainly arrange for them to come back at the appropriate time to do the second round. Or the county they're moving the vaccination around, and I think there's opportunity to certainly get your second shot in Bridgewater or down in Somerville as the county moves their vaccination opportunities around the county. So there'll be more opportunity if they want to. And if folks don't want to come to the farmer's market, they'll have other opportunities from the county. But I think this is a great chance, once again, to highlight what we're doing. And I want to say thank you to John Fodor at the prosecutor's office for working with us to pull this together. So thank you, John. I mentioned that the vax rates and the COVID rates are based on the census. So last week, the census data came out. From 2010, Bedminster was identified as having a population of 8,165. With the new data from as of April 1st, 2020, Bedminster population at 8,272. So we're up 107 in 10 years. I think that's not really surprising to anyone. There's not been major residential development. Folks have moved out, folks have moved in, folks have gotten families, maybe a couple subdivisions here and there. So no great surprises there. The information is all available on the US Census. And we'll see if we can't get a link to the Bedminster page on our website. So we'll get that going as well. All right, that's what I have for the preliminaries. We're going to get into public comments very soon, but we do have a special public comment. We're going to bring it up now. It's Carol Bianchi, who is our rep from JCP&L. Carol, if you could come up to the lectern. And so what we've talked about before, we've asked JCP&L reps in the past to come to township meetings. And in the beginning, it was to hear a rash of complaints from the township committee and from our residents about JCP&L service. And those complaints have been listened to and they've been acted upon. And so with Carol as our JCP&L rep, we know we have an ear, and we have an ear to Carol, but we also have Carol delivering the message to folks to implement change. And I think we've been very lucky in having that change implemented. And Carol, this is probably your 4th or 5th time before us, and you've got some updates.
Yes.
So please go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm wearing a mask tonight. COVID and our policy at 30% of Power Lake, but I will remove my mask during my statements. I am your external affairs liaison to Bedminster, and I have the pleasure of working with the mayor and this committee. And Robin, thank you for your help today with the presentation.
Excuse me, I think we just need to hit the button on the bottom.
I thought I hit that, but check, because I don't know if it's picking up.
Give me one session or another one.
You can hold this in your hands.
Okay, how is this? Is it being recorded?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to thank the mayor and our utility liaison, Colin, who I work with closely, and all committee members for having me tonight. And as I said, Robin. And I also see joining us virtually. I want to say hi to John Villardo and Jay Perry. And I think I see some residents' names who I recognize as well. So good evening. And I hope that you find this presentation informative. So with that, Robin, I think we'll start it. We can go to the first slide. This is a short presentation, but it is the first 2 slides are just a reminder. It's a refresher sort of what we've reviewed in the past, but an important one, starting with the Jersey Central service restoration process. Because when we're in a storm event where we have a number of outages, we follow a process. And it is just a good reminder to our customers of what that process looks like. So first, what we have to do during a storm is to isolate and make the situation safe. Safety is our top priority. We have to assess our damage. And that can be a little frustrating for residents who want us to immediately start restoring power, which is what we want to do, but we first have to go through this process to make sure that everyone is safe. And we have to start at the top, repairing high voltage lines and restoring essential functions. We then have to move on to our critical facilities and hospitals. And while we're doing that, we're also picking up customers, because whatever circuit is served on these critical facilities and hospitals, those customers are also being restored. We have to repair our main feeder and distribution lines before we can turn to our neighborhoods. And this is because if we were to start at the bottom, when there's damage on the up top, on the transmission lines and so forth, and distribution lines, we can't make any repairs further down the line until we restore everything at the top. And as we mentioned, we restore those areas with the largest number of customers before restoring all individual homes. And of course, all of our customers are important, so we continue to work throughout the night until everyone is restored. We can go to the next slide. I wanted to just briefly review as well that we do have a cycle of preventative maintenance programs and inspections for every single circuit. So we wanted to make sure that our customers and municipalities understand that we are constantly looking at our equipment, all of our infrastructure, and we have reliability engineers who are studying the circuits and the outages and what's causing them and making improvements continuously. These circuit inspections occur on a 5-year cycle. We identify any deficiencies in the equipment and we make repairs. Our wood poles are inspected on a 10-year cycle, and they're either replaced or reinforced as needed. We do thermography, which is an infrared scan on a 4-year cycle for every circuit. And the infrared camera, as you can see in this picture, detects issues that are not visible to the naked eye. Our circuits are then prioritized and the issues are mitigated. And we'll go on to the next cycle of inspections. Vegetation management is so very important, and we gain the cooperation of our municipalities, understanding how important it is, particularly with these major weather events that we've been experiencing. We do our vegetation management on a 4-year cycle on all of our circuits. We remove hazard trees with the permission of the tree owners. We remove overhang along the main lines, and we have been tackling as many of our ash trees within the right of way as we can. And our worst performing circuit program, well, I don't like the name of that. What that means is that we're always, as I said, identifying our circuits, and those that are underperforming, not performing to the standards that we expect. We identify exactly what is going on, what is the cause of those outages, and then we come up with specific remedies. And that, again, is what our reliability engineers are doing constantly. And often we need to do some supplemental tree trimming where there's a number of tree-related outages. We're not picking up.
We're not? Oh, that's okay. Let's see. Okay. Well, hopefully you got all that, or hopefully I'm loud enough. All right. Oh, I can hear the difference.
difference.
Yes, I can. Okay. So we can go on to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay, now I want to talk specifically. One of the things I've been talking particularly with Committeeman Hickey who's your utility liaison to JCP&L, is about the specific outages that occurred on July 6th and July 8th. And these affected the Greater Crossroads 17594 circuit. And the 17594 had been one of our worst performing circuits in 2020. So we identified exactly what was going on with that circuit and we addressed those issues. The issues that you experienced on July 6 and 8 were due to significant weather events. There was the July 6th, there was a bow echo followed by a late night line of thunderstorms. I had never heard of a bow echo before, I confess, but we experienced it. And it produced over 900 cloud to ground lightning incidents within 60 minutes. It was an extended period of heat and humidity. That was followed by Tropical Storm Elsa with significant rain and wind gusts. And we had a significant number of outages, over 233,000 customers in our territory during that time period. Specifically in Bedminster, a tree fell on our primary wires on July 6th, and that caused that particular outage. On July 8th, we were unfortunate to have a lightning strike on the Greater Crossroads circuit. And our crews worked very hard, despite the number of outages. They worked really hard. I think they did a great job of restoration. They switched, they did a forced outage on the 17596 Greater Crossroads so that they could safely make repairs. And I was on the phone with the line manager throughout that event in the lightning and the rain, and they were working really hard to restore the customers. And I was also on the line with Committeeman Hickey during that entire event, giving him updates about what was happening on the ground. So again, while we do everything that we can to improve reliability during these major events, our system is not foolproof. So trees will come down, lightning will occur, there will be outages. It is unfortunate. We never know exactly where it's going to strike. We monitor the weather every day, and we take measures and we line up our crews, but we don't know exactly which circuit it might hit. And so we respond and we get everybody back in power. And that's the most important thing. So we can move to the next slide. So as a result, we patrolled all the lines. We ensured that the tie point was working and that the trip saver that we had recently installed was working. And we are going to do some other things. We have a 4-year cycle of trimming that is scheduled next year on the Greater Crossroads circuit But we're going to make an investment to do additional tree removals on that circuit in light of what just occurred. And there was approval to invest in additional tree trimming this year, removing dead ash trees on that circuit. And then we will come and do our 4-year cycle of trimming next year on the circuit. And we can move to the next slide. And just so you could see, we do maintain the schedule, and we don't need to go through it, but as you can see, all the major circuits that are feeding Bedminster, there is in fact a year that is assigned to each one. It indicates when we are due next to do our overhead, underground, our poles, our vegetation, and our thermography. I think that might be the last slide. We can go to the next.
That's all I have.
That's it. Okay, that is it. All right. I hope that was informative, and I would be happy to take any questions first from the committee.
So Carol, this might have been about 2 or 3 years ago. There was discussions that BPU was going to enlarge the right of way for the tree trimming. Did that happen? Did that get approved?
Generally, we do 10 feet are right of way. But when we have, when we identify particular trees that are problematic, we do work with the municipality to see what more we can do. Because ideally, we all want to keep those trees off the lines. There are so many trees and so many dead ash trees. And now, of course, we're dealing with a new invader, the spotted lanternfly. So there's always going to be these issues with the trees, unfortunately. So we really do need the cooperation of our customers and our municipalities to remove trees. So we'll do what we can within our right of way and any overhang. And we need everyone to kind of to get on board. And I think that everybody is, so that's not a criticism. I do feel that the customers are becoming more and more collaborative, and the municipalities as well. And also the counties. The counties are also trying to do what they can along their roads.
Okay.
Carol, quick one. I know a couple of years ago, you were very helpful because we're having problems on the PPAC circuit, and it was impacting a lot of folks in Woodland Pond area. And I know you made some major improvements with respect to cabling, underground cabling, some of the overhead wires near the 287 entrance ramp, some transformers. You mentioned this briefly on this circuit, which just so everybody knows, this is a circuit that feeds a lot of the lower hills. It's all along Hills Drive, all those developments are impacted by the circuit Carol just discussed. You mentioned the tie points, and you mentioned the trip saver. Can you just talk about those in a little more detail? Just because you have taken action since the outages last year, and I just wanted.
Right, and no, I'm glad that you mentioned that, Committeeman. So yeah, we identified some of the issues on the Greater Crossroads last year, and we again made improvements. We installed a new trip saver, and we, again, we have been doing more aggressive tree trimming. And there were some underground cable issues. We fixed those. There was 4 of the outages last year were caused by a sub-transmission issue. And we have, as a result, this year, we have a total, we measure our larger outages are 100 customers or more, although we would like no outages for anyone. We have had a total of 2 this year, 2 outages that affected more than 100 on this circuit. Last year, we had a total of 14 affecting 100 or more. So the improvements that we've made are already being seen. The reliability on the Greater Crossroads is actually very good this year. We are 8-9 months into the year. So fingers crossed, but I think that we're seeing that these improvements are happening. And again, while doing our preventative maintenance and our reliability upgrades on every circuit, if we have a bad year on one circuit, we're going to focus on that circuit and make those improvements, identify exactly what's going on. We did that with the PPAC circuit and the Chambersbrook, as you know, Committeeman, as you mentioned. We identified, we dug in. I work with our reliability engineers. I was on the phone with him, all last week, this week, today, just really identifying what was the causes and what are we doing. Now, this year, again, we had those 2 major outages, and while unfortunate, they were 100% related to the severe weather. Again, one being a tree and one being a lightning issue. And those we cannot prevent 100%. But again, working with our reliability engineers, identifying the issues, working with our municipality, our utility liaison and mayor, we do take these issues seriously, and we work together to fix them. And I think that's the best outcome.
When we take questions from the
You
public?
have a
Yes,
question? Lisa
sure.
Robinson is on the line.
Yes. Hello.
I got to unmute. Hi, Carol, how are you?
Good, Lisa.
Thank you for coming to address the township. We appreciate everything that you've done for us so far. We really do. I just have a question. I know that you mentioned the maintenance that you do in terms of tree trimming and the other things. What about maintenance to like the electrical boxes that are placed around the large green boxes that are placed around the communities? There are several of them that are in really bad disrepair, rusted out, big holes in them that like a child could put their hand in or something. And I find that to be dangerous. Very dangerous. Some of them, we've reported them and they came out and put a patch on them. And they just really look bad, and they're also unsafe. How often does JCP&L, go through here and look at this, like just inspect the boxes to see what they're like and, if they need to be replaced?
Yes, Lisa, we do obviously have a lot of those. I think you're referring to the pad mounted transformers. And, I have one on my property as well, in my home. And with regard to those, generally, we do, when we're inspecting, when we're patrolling the lines, we're looking for things like that, but they also come to our attention if somebody reports them. So we do take that seriously, and we work together. When I first started here, which was in 2019, there were some, certainly where there's holes or rusted issues, we need to patch those, we need to fix that. We prioritize the reliability over aesthetics. So there might be some boxes that are not maybe brand new looking. Sometimes we have poles that don't look brand new either. But if they're safe, if they're reliable, that's our priority. And so, we have identified boxes in the past and made sure that we take care of those holes. If the box is in such bad shape that we cannot make repairs, then we would need to replace that. If you see particular pad mounted transformers or equipment that you feel is dangerous, or that an animal could get in, or certainly a child or a hand, we want to know about that, and we will fix it.
Okay.
So please pass that along to, you can either call customer service or you can pass that along. That's probably the best way. Like, we encourage people to report it online or just to call the 800-662-3115 number anytime you see any issue. A tree limb on a primary wire, or something like what you've described. The best thing to do is report it either online or by calling that phone number so that we can take care of it.
Thank you. Our property manager actually went through and took pictures and of all of the boxes in our community. I'm going to pass that list along to Colin Hickey. And then, maybe he can get that to you for me, since there's pictures and everything. I think that would be the best. And then you can assess which ones are priority. I know the one right by me has quite a big hole in it. So really that should be repaired as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I've not seen any other comments this time.
We just remind people how to.
Well, yeah, so so for everyone who's participating, and looks like everyone is participating by Zoom, not by phone. So if you want to ask a question to Carol while we're on this subject, take your cursor, scroll down to the bottom of the screen, go over participants, and you'll see the icon for raise hand. Click on raise hand, and Ms. Ray will introduce you. And also for anyone in person, since we have a few folks here in person who have a question for Carol Bianchi, just come on up, raise your hand, and ask away. Okay, seeing none. Any other comments from TC?
No, I would just like to thank Carol for being in touch with Colin, because I know during these outages, he is keeping people up to date on, community pages that we have. And people really do appreciate that, knowing what's going on. So thank you so much for keeping in touch with him during these outages.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And on the flip side, Carol is always very, very responsive.
Yes.
She is awesome. And also, Carol, recognize, when we start to have these problems, like Carol mentioned, she's running statistical analyses with her support staff to look at reliability on these surveys. So it's not just kind of pick and choose. It's like, let's get down and see what the data is telling us. And that's what Carol is doing so that we can prevent these outages from occurring in the future or minimize them to the amount we can.
Yeah,
Thank you, Carol.
and certainly anecdotally, this engagement with JCP&L and Carol with you, I think it has improved. And certainly, look, we monitor the complaints from our residents and we know when there's a problem, especially Committee in Hickey. And, crossing our fingers, it seems to have abated and we attribute that to really this relationship. And, that's who we have. We have JCP&L and we're lucky to have Carol.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you. And I enjoy the relationship as well. And I just want to just let everyone know that I work with great people. And I think, our crews are really heroes. They are out there in the worst of weather and they're giving, they get a phone call, they miss Christmas Eve. We all do, to be honest, but you do as well to some extent, Township Committee. But no, I mean, that's our job and we take it seriously and that's what we do. So we're just glad to see that it really is a partnership here. And I'm glad that you see that as well.
Okay, and let's hope for a very easy hurricane season, so we don't have more of these conversations.
You've seen the weather patterns. It's been rough, 2020 and 2021. The heat waves, the thunderstorms, the bow echo, the tropical storms. It's not really letting up, but.
So Carol, can you explain to us what a bow echo is in very detailed, elaborate meteorological?
Yeah, actually, are you serious?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah. Let's go ahead. What's a bow echo?
I am not a weather expert or meteorologist, but as I understand it, it's cold air underneath the front. It strengthens the gust, causing it upwards and to bow out. And it creates very strong winds with heavy rains. And it creates this effect where it just keeps cycling and heavy rains and winds that just keep bowing out. And, so again, it's been called like a river of wind.
Well done.
Yeah, that's the best I can offer you. But if you ever want,
it could be right. It could
our
be wrong.
meteorologist would not
to
be
me.
thrilled. He would do a much better job. So anyway, thank you for having
Thank you,
me.
Carol.
I hope you all enjoy your week. Thank you.
Good seeing you, Mayor.
Good to see you too, John, and everyone on Zoom. I'll put my
Take
mask
care.
back on. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, John.
Watch the cords.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Carol, and thank you to the folks at JCP&L. We're going to continue with public comments. So let's start with folks in the room. Name and address, and come around so you can actually capture you on
right.
the video.
Doug Brown, 1851 Black River Road. This is.
I
Turn
know.
around.
Yeah, okay. So just some anecdotal feedback. Number one, on the speeding. Obviously, that's why I'm here, speeding on Black River. With the movement of the northbound sign from in front of my house back south to the first, on the south side of the bridge.
Yep.
Northbound traffic seems to have improved, the speed. Still there, but by and large, I would have to say totally anecdotal, it has improved. Southbound, no doubts, it's still a speedway. But I would like to request, being that police presence down at my end of the village, for whatever reason, we just don't get it in a static situation that we'll cruise through, that when they park, they'll park up at the church. And they do get some people, which is surprising because, people know that there's a stop sign coming up and there's still speed, but no stop sign going south, no police presence going south. And it's still 25 all the way past me, over the brook, and up in front of the Peanut Cone property. Would like to request from the town to install another solar speed sign between my house and Bill Tischer's house on the southbound, which would then give that encouragement that to the folks that it's still 25 in that area. And that's, that's right in the kind of the S curve, right before the S curve, where they slingshot around in front of my house and really get going. Again, from the anecdotal observation of moving the other one southbound, that has improved. Tom, I don't know what you think about southbound in front of your house, if the sign helps. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, you'll have. to-
yes, you will have to, Tom.
But I would request another sign that, again, between myself and Bill, there's a straightaway, the canopy opens up, plenty of blue sky for the solar. So, it's my
Okay,
request.
Tom, if you want to, any comments? And so this is Tom, and Tom, your address?
2030 Black River Road in Pottersville. I do have to agree with Doug about the police presence. It has helped, but it's not enough at certain times of the day. Okay. I never see a problem basically up on our side because we usually have somebody outside that will tell people to slow down, and it works. Okay. So I don't see the problem that he has.
Okay.
But I do believe the police presence has diminished on the road. Okay, now I don't know why. I do know the retirement of one of the officers who was historically staying there is retired, so I know the manpower is probably not the same. But I do think more presence on the southbound side would be better.
Manpower is the same. So we've, with the one retirement that we have, there was a new officer that came on board. So we're still at our regular capacity. So what we did in our prior discussions was we formed a traffic committee that actually Committeewoman Moreski and the chief and Mr. Brown. Tom, were you at one of those meetings as well?
I'm
Actually,
not sure.
Paul? Okay, so I'd suggest that Renee, you, the chief, Paul, and Mr. Brown convene again
Okay.
regarding this request. And also, while you're at it, talk to the chief about the police presence down in that section of Pottersville, both Pottersville generally, and then heading down south in Black River.
I personally believe that a relocation of the one up by my house for
Pushing
the
it
south
to the south?
would work.
I should come back.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same, but I didn't want to remove that one because, I think it could help.
Well,
But I think it would be more effective down south because up in that part,
You're coming out of the stop sign.
Exactly.
Presumably, you stopped at the stop sign.
Right.
And the road it's a denser road. The traffic is probably
Right.
just naturally slower in that area. So perhaps a readjustment. So yeah, Renee, if you can just reach out and coordinate with everyone.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thanks
Okay.
so much.
Thank you, Mr.
Good
Brown.
Right.
Okay, we'll go back to Zoom. And for any other residents or anyone else who wishes to make a public comment, bring your cursor down to the bottom of the screen, scroll over participants, click on raise hand, and Ms. Ray will recognize you.
I am not seeing any other comments. Mayor.
Okay, let's move on. We have one set of minutes to approve. That's the August 2nd, 2021 Township Committee regular meeting. We have no executive session minutes to approve. Everyone who a chance to review. And if there are no comments that have not otherwise been made, may we have a motion to approve the August 2nd minutes?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got a series of permits and raffles to go through, so I will read quickly. Social fair permit for Fiddler's Elbow Fiddle Fest event on September 11, 2021 from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club, 811 Rattlesnake Bridge Road, Bedminster, New Jersey. Social fair permit to benefit the Expect Miracles Foundation on September 21st, 2021 from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club, 811 Rattlesnake Bridge Road. Third is the social affair permit to benefit music in Somerset Hills on September 25, 2021 from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Casey residence located at 1350 Larger Cross Road, Bedminster. I'm going to skip the next three and we'll go to the on-premise 50/50 raffle license to benefit St. Joseph's Health Foundation on September 13th, 2021 at Hamilton Farm Golf Club, 1040 Pottersville Road. And an off-premise 50/50 raffle to benefit music in the Somerset Hills on September 25, 2021 at 5 p.m. at the Casey residence located at 1350 Larger Cross Road. Any questions or comments regarding those permits and that one license? Seeing none, may we motion to approve those permits and the one license?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so I held off 3 fireworks permits. And we have a representative from the Trump National to talk about the fireworks permits, but let me run through them real quickly. First is a fireworks permit for wedding celebration on September 4, 2021 at approximately 9:30 a.m. I'm sorry, 9:30 p.m. at Trump National Golf Club, 900 Lamington Road. The second is a fireworks permit for wedding celebration on October 2nd, 2021 at approximately 9:30 p.m. at Trump National Golf Club, 900 Lamington Road. And the third is the fireworks permit for wedding celebration on October 16th, 2021 at approximately 9:30 p.m. at Trump National. Okay, so this is what we've done before, just sort of walk us through. Oh, and your name for the record.
I am Rob Totten with the Trump National Golf Club. I am the Director of Security, and I am responsible for all of our fireworks committee. Just to fill you, these are standard wedding packages, about 6 to 7 minutes in duration. Our law firm has contacted all of our neighbors within 200 feet of our property with letters indicating the dates of when these fireworks will occur. Nobody has called me with any complaints or questions, so that is all been taken care of. I've been in communication with the fire inspector and Chief Rock. Chief Rock has been informed that these fireworks will require Copperwaith Road to be closed, and that will be conducted by the Bedminster Police Department. And as usual for all fireworks displays, contact the Bedminster Fire Department, and we have an apparatus on property just for safety precautions.
So this is the same standard regimen and same standard safety protocols and the notification protocols that you've implemented every time that there's a fireworks event, whether it's for a wedding celebration or the Memorial Day or other fireworks celebrations.
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Ray?
Sure, I just have a memo from the chief if you'd like me to
Yes,
share.
please.
The chief said he reviewed all 3 fireworks applications submitted by Trump National. He find they're all complete and he raises no concerns. The only issue he expressed was October 16th event, since it's the same day as the Far Hill Steeplechase
Right.
races. So Mr. Totten is aware that Trump National will have to contract the neighboring police department to provide the road closure and fireworks security for that particular day. And he does suggest that the Township Committee approve all 3 permits.
Okay. Any questions or comments from Township Committee?
Nope.
Okay. May we have a motion to approve all 3 fireworks permits?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Great, thank you. very
Thank you,
much.
Rob.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Have fun fireworks.
We could shows.
Monthly report discussion by subcommittee chair, Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. I have not had any meetings since last meeting, so I've got no updates. So next time, hopefully we'll have some.
Okay, thank you. Committeeman Steven.
You say commitment break, so that's good, right?
Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a Board of Health meeting on Thursday. Chairman Fisher's here. I think we're having a busy night with 4 applications, so we do. So we'll report on that next time. That's for the remainder of my subcommittees. We will see them in September. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Committeewoman Moreski.
Okay, I'm going to take up all their time. So let's see, Environmental Commission on August 4th, the SK Bed One Associates brought forth their the application for the property at Bedminster 1 with Matt Draheim of Gladstone Design presenting the application for the most part. They did go, of course, through the environmental checklist, but because of a lot of the things like surface coverage, lighting, and some landscaping issues, the EC denied the EIS waiver and is asking them to fill out the environmental impact study waiver form.
So they'll have
I'm
to-
not sure
so-
where
so-
it actually
So they'll
goes
have to
from
do
there.
a full environmental impacts study and make
Yep.
that presentation.
Yep,
Okay.
and I don't know, because when I was on EC, we never stopped one, so I don't know, does that impact study come back to EC or does that go on to?
It goes to
use
land,
board?
it goes to land use board.
Okay.
There may be a cursory or courtesy review by EC, but the EC is sort of the gatekeeper on the environmental impact study or statement, whether so that actually gets built into their land use board application. So
Okay.
you may get EC may get the opportunity to review it, but certainly it will be subject for consideration at the land use board.
Okay, so should I let the EC know that they may see that or they may not? I mean,
Yeah, you
okay.
can, absolutely.
Okay. Let's see, and then next subject is our marijuana mental health, my little section. And I passed on the list of questions that I got from Hillsborough Township for the survey to Gina and the mayor. And I think we'll go through those questions at some point soon and put them into a form where we'll share that with our staff and the rec committee.
Yeah.
And see if there's any programs we want to develop that come out of the answers to those questions. I attended the county municipal forum on the American Rescue Plan on August 4th. So the meeting was hosted by a working group of many of the Somerset County departments led by Colleen Marr, the county administrator. The mission of this group is to explore opportunities to leverage county and municipal allocations from the state and local fiscal recovery fund to best serve our communities, residents, and businesses. The county would like to focus on programs and projects that will have long-term staying power and create sustained elevated impacts in the community beyond the initial investment of the Somerset County economy. Final direction from the state on what the funds can be spent on has yet to be received, but the county feels that it would be beneficial for all the municipalities to do initial reviews of what programs they could use and reaching out so that partnerships can be developed.
Do they give an indication on when we will actually get definitive guidance
No,
from either the state or the feds?
no, they did not.
Okay.
So of course, everybody was giggling in the background because we're trying to get all this stuff started to, have economies of scale in the county, but we don't know yet.
Okay. And Robin, have you heard anything further from your
Same-
contacts?
Same boat.
Okay.
Let's see. So speaking of utilities, I reached out to the Hills Highland, Hills Village North Masters Association and Hills Village Master Association, as well as Timberbrook, to set up meetings with the leaders of the masters and the neighborhood associations to meet with Marilyn Davis of Altice to determine the interests of each community in setting up the fiber optics in their neighborhood. We're on the schedule for Hills Highland for September 7th, and we're waiting for confirmations on the dates of August 23rd for HVNMA and 27th for HVMA. I'm just waiting for a return call from Timberbrook, and hopefully we'll get those all set up so that everybody knows what this all entails and get a good idea of the interest and let Marilyn take it from there.
Right, and this is a follow-up to something that we raised at our last meeting, where, similar to what we've done with JCP, right? So this active engagement with our representatives from the utilities, and in this case, moving away from JCP to Altice, which provides the optimum cable and internet service. So in the dialogue that we've had with Marilyn Davis, certainly we've all heard, and some of us certainly have experienced, some of the poor internet cable connectivity, and
Poor is being kind.
poor is being kind, and bad connectivity is always bad, but when hundreds, maybe thousands of Bedminster residents are working from home, and they're counting on that connectivity for their livelihood, for their jobs, having poor internet is a major problem. So we are lucky that once again, we have a good ear with Marilyn Davis, and she's been responsive. And we're also lucky that we have a cable expert, modest cable expert on TC. And so with this engagement we had with Marilyn, pushing them, what can we do better? Splitting the nodes certainly has helped, but the delivery of fiber optics, right? That could be a game changer.
I hate that phrase, but it could be.
So improving reliability, improving connectivity, improving bandwidth and speed. This is a great opportunity here, but it does require new infrastructure. And so this is where we really need our condominium liaisons, right? So that's Renee and Colin, to do some outreach to the master associations, then to the individual neighborhood associations. Look, these are your residents, they're our residents as well. Yes, this is some disruption, and to some extent, it's necessary. But Renee, you actually lived through this, right?
Yeah, we had FiOS installed, and for a couple of days, I mean, that's all it felt like. They dug up some streets, they dug up some grass, but it was rectified very shortly thereafter. You can't tell. It's a couple little cut lines in the streets, and that was it. And they were done, and they cleaned up nicely after themselves.
That's great.
So it was definitely worth it.
Okay. And so we did post on the Bedminster website the letter that we sent out to the master associations, and push it out to, frankly, I hope the neighborhood associations. So it sounds like some of those meetings are already scheduled and moving forward. So good luck and hopefully good results there.
That'd be good. Real quick, community garden, Doug, we have a meeting set up for the 26th at 10. So Paul Ferrara has shown us his initial idea on the size and shape of the garden, and between Doug and Robin, and if John can make it, we had other ideas as well. So we'll share them with Paul, and just keep moving along.
Good.
With the garden.
Great.
And real quick, last, I promise, I finally have some estimates from JVH for the painting and maintenance of the roof. So I don't know where these go next. I forward them on to everybody I thought of. But just let me know, and that would be great if after all this time, we could get moving on that one.
All right. Okay.
And I think that concludes my time today.
Okay, thank you. Committee Woman Fernandez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a brief update. First, I want to thank Renee for forwarding along the mental health survey from Hillsborough. I did send that to Robin to discuss with Human Resources, as well as Neil Mastrobono, our rec director, kind of bring up with our rec committee and see, if we can develop any programs to kind of assess the need, based on the survey, and develop programs based on that need. So there are fall programs currently. We have adult sand volleyball going on. In September, we have Somerset Hills Outdoor Basketball, Soccer Academy, and Hoop Academy currently. Those are our fall programs. Summer camp just wrapped up this past week. Successful 8 weeks of summer camp. And that's what we have planned for the fall. And that's my only updates. Thank you.
Great. Just some observations. I think that Renee, Colin, and I certainly have heard from at the farmers market. Camp went well, very well. A lot of happy parents. Incident free, so that's always
Basic.
good. Incident free, Robin.
Yes.
Incident free.
Yes. it was.
Good. So once again, congratulations and thank everyone on rec committee for putting that together, and certainly Neil Mastrobuono for taking over the big shoes left for him by
And
our
Neil,
former rec director, Robin Ray.
Neil was there every day. I was dropping off. He was there at drop off. He was there at pick up. He was making sure everybody was getting their temperature taken. Everybody was wearing their masks. So it was smooth running.
Great. So I'll be real quick. Nope, no, that was not sarcastic. I'm gonna try to be real quick. Okay, land use board. We did not have a meeting since our last one. It was canceled. The applicant requested an adjournment of starting their application, so that's been put off. We had, Colin and I participated on a call with the state planning commission on plan endorsement. So actually, our center designations for Pluckman and Bedminster villages expires later in January. And so the time to start moving on getting those redesignated is now, and moving forward with plan endorsement. So plan endorsement means that our master plan is viewed in a manner consistent with the state plan and sort of does a little bit of regional, not so much, and we're not giving up any home rule, but just looks to see whether or not what we're doing here is consistent with the state plan for our area, and then also looking at what some of the surrounding towns are doing. So in the past, we've been viewed as a leader in our planning initiatives. I've asked the question multiple times, just exactly what benefit does Bedminster get, to our residents, to our businesses, to our property owners get from plan endorsement? And it does appear that under the latest economic incentive packages that Trenton is offering, that if we have center designation and plan endorsement, that does give businesses that are coming to Bedminster and bringing in new jobs, they are eligible. I believe it's the Grow New Jersey program that gives them a benefit, and there are significant tax savings that are based upon number of jobs. I think it's a minimum of 25 new jobs or retention of jobs. And so that may be something that is useful to us as we move forward with evaluation of the AT&T property, and perhaps seeing some new energy put into our villages. So it's something that I'm going to support, and I think we'll be able to talk a little bit more about this probably at our next meeting. Farmers market continues to just move along well. I think once again, we talked about bringing the COVID shots in. I think that is a great opportunity. And let me just mention the pony farm. If anyone's driven by the pony farm recently, you notice that the roof of the well has been replaced. So before it was a sort of strange looking hexagonal or octagon looking structure. It's been replaced with something more traditional well look. And my understanding is that the stone and gravel for the parking will be in place within a couple of weeks. And I believe that there's been coordination on the plaque thanking the Brady family for their contributions to that area. That should be also done relatively shortly. So maybe by the next meeting, there may be additional updates. That's all I have from my end. Ms. Ray, Administrator's report, please.
Okay, sure. Just a lot of HR, human resources information. We had hope to expect the Principal Public Works Manager job to be posted later this week. We're interviewing a new administrative assistant beginning Friday, August 20th. We're going to keep open the interviews for DPW truck driver laborer pending submission of more applications. DPW started, they were our guinea pigs, starting with performance appraisals. We started mid-year performance appraisals. We hope to roll that out across the board with all the employees the beginning of this year. We started with DPW because John Mance is retiring. We thought it'd be a good baseline for a new DPW manager to come in and be able to assess his employees right off the start, right off the out of the box. We also, effective August 27th, Jenny Peterson resigned as violations clerk in our shared municipal court. She took a promotion in a nearby town as deputy court administrator, and sorry to see her go. She's been a great asset to the municipal court, but we wish her well in her new position. Moving on, lots of HR stuff. Plus we're working on our personnel, updating the personnel manual. That's got to be done. And an employee handbook, November. There was a lot of work that was done, but there's been so many changes just in a short year that the last one was prepared that we're going through with a fine tooth comb. IT, we actually moved forward with Rave Mobile Communications, which is a public alert and information platform to improve resident communications. Last week, at the end of last week, all of the landlines for our residents and local businesses were ported over into our Rave system. And I sent over all of the employees preliminary information. So we'll be able to do not only communications with our residents, but interdepartmental as well. And then within each particular department, like for a call out for DPW. So they'll be assigned their own group as well. So it's kind of neat. So we're getting there.
Is there anything, I mean, on that issue, is there anything that we need to do as TC? We'll be getting, is there a program? Is there an app to download?
So you'll get all of that information. Right now, we're just gathering all of our, all the nuts and bolts, emails, phone numbers for us internally here. And then we'll have a marketing campaign that will be pushing this out to residents in order for residents to sign up, which will have the directions for the app.
Okay.
So we'll resort to some of our current methods that we're using to get the word out, which has been working pretty good, I actually have to say. But this will hopefully, we'll get a lot of signups rather quickly, given the platforms we're using right now. So,
Okay, great.
yeah, so that's good. Moving along. So next is engineering DPW. I know we've been kicking around this Black River Road paving project for quite some time. There is an ordinance on the agenda tonight regarding this project. I just wanted to give you all a quick update that Ferrera Engineering submitted the project documents to the New Jersey Department of Transportation. There has been some comments received back. I think Hunterdon County was not necessarily too excited about the path that we had planned for the
Detour.
proposed detours.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, thanks. Couldn't spit that out. Anyway, so we're going to hopefully go out to bid September 2nd. Then I just gave you a timeline. Code enforcement and fire prevention, the zoning officer and construction official are addressing resident complaints regarding an abandoned home on Union Grove Road that's overgrown, similar situation to what we have in Pluckerman. Nothing has been determined yet at this time. Hamilton Farms, this is just an FYI. They had scheduled a fireworks display, which you had previously approved for Memorial Day. They do need to switch that to Labor Day because it was rained out for Memorial Day. So everybody has been re-notified, their surrounding neighbors and the police chief and fire official are aware. So just want to make sure that you're all on board with that. Tax collector, tax bills were mailed Thursday, August 5th. And the grace period, just a reminder for everyone, has been extended through the end of the month of August for third quarter taxes. And
Just, Robin, just
yeah.
backing up, I know we had talked about the overgrown house on Union Grove Road,
correct.
but also I believe that there was additional action that Gina and Renee had mentioned regarding that house on Washington Valley, and that both code and zoning were taking a look at that structure and there'd be action taken as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Sorry, I forgot, neglected to include that in my report. The DOT, I just got word, is conducting a pedestrian safety study to address concerns at that Pluckman Park senior crosswalk that's right by the church coming out of Pluckman Schoolhouse Park, as well as they're looking at the one in the Bedminster Village, which is if you're heading towards Bernardsville on Route 202, it's the last crosswalk that's right before the bridge going over by the first aid squad there. if they're going to be replacing the bridge there over the next year, doesn't seem to make sense to work on that at this particular time, but we'll bring that up when they reach out to us. Also, we have a new, I think I gave each one of you, Shop Bedminster, our property tax card has a new app that's for iPhone and for Android. What's great about this is the app features tax credits recorded in real time, so you'll be able to see what your deduction will be from your taxes. And you'll get an updated list of merchants with the discounts in real time, as well as a personalized QR code, so scanning will be easier for you. So they could do it tableside at restaurants and.
So you don't have to have that card with
You
you
don't have to have
that
the card,
you
correct?
all lost.
Right. So we did push,
it.
so we did push that information out today to all the residents. So, and that's all I have.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Introduction of ordinances. Well, we should have a discussion on introduced ordinances. We have two ordinances to introduce. The first is ordinance 2021-017, and ordinance amending ordinance number 2021-007, adopted on May 3, 2021, appropriating $108,000 for body worn camera equipment for the Township of Bedminster Police Department. So this ordinance amends the prior ordinance. So now we actually know how much money the body cameras are going to cost. So essentially, all we're doing with this ordinance is revising the numbers.
Correct. We're
Okay.
just identifying the amount of the grant award.
Okay. And John Bellardo, I assume you're still there. So that this is not, well, I guess this does. This requires a full new ordinance to make that revision.
It does. That's why we're introducing it, Mayor.
All right. Ask a stupid question and you get you get the type of answer. Okay.
Relatively informed answer.
May we have a motion to introduce ordinance number 2021-017? If it is introduced tonight, the public hearing will be on September 7th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Your roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Ms. Moreski.
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez.
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
On the second ordinance for introduction is ordinance number 2020. Now this should be 2021. So if you're playing
Oh,
along on your
sorry.
agenda, we'll just make that 2021-018. An ordinance appropriating $64,000 for Black River Road paving project. This ordinance authorizes appropriating $64,400 from the 2021 capital plan for engineering costs for the paving project of Black River Road in Bedminster Township. If this is introduced, the public hearing will be scheduled for September 7th, 2021, here in Municipal Building at a regular Township Committee meeting. Any questions? I think we sort of already covered the Black River Road paving earlier. But if there are any questions or comments, I've been engaged with both Paul Ferrero and John Mance earlier today about this as well. So if all goes well and the schedule stays where it should, if paving could begin November. If everything stays on schedule. So if there are no questions, may we have a motion to introduce ordinance 2021-018?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Ms. Moreski.
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez.
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
We have two ordinances that are scheduled for public hearing. The first is ordinance 2021-015, an ordinance appropriating $37,260 for various equipment for the Pottersville Volunteer Fire Department. This ordinance appropriates capital funding of Bedminster Township's 60% share of the purchase of various fire equipment for PVFD. 63, Department 63. May we have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we've gone through this before. This is $37,260 for various equipment. I think we certainly have talked about it at length. Are there any questions or comments from the Township Committee? So open up for public comment. For public comment, if you are here in person, come on up. We have 4 representatives from 63 here with us tonight. And we have members of the public. I'm not sure if any members of the public have questions or comments, but certainly Pottersville Fire Department. Any comments you'd like to make?
At this time, unless.
You don't have to.
No.
If you have questions for us, we'll maybe ask them.
Okay, let's open it up to the public as well. So for those participating in tonight's meeting via Zoom, take your cursor, scroll down to the bottom of the page. On participants, put your cursor right over there, click on raise hand, and you'll be identified for public comment by Ms. Ray. Seeing none.
None.
May we have a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2021-015?
So moved.
Second.
May we have a motion to approve ordinance number 2021-015?
Did you need to vote on that other one?
Oh, yeah,
We
we
need-
do. Yes,
sorry.
Thank you, thank you.
We need it all in favor.
Aye.
Thank you.
I think that's the second time in a row I've done that, right? May we have a motion to approve ordinance 2021-015?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Ms. Moreski.
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez.
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
Pottersville, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your service. It is well appreciated, not just by the Pottersville residents, by all Bedminster residents. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for entertaining our requests and being so generous with us at all times. This particular is for life safety equipment, so,
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
and give us some notice and we'll come cook for you.
Yes. That would be a great, once again, we've had opportunity. Did you guys reach out to Neil over at,
Yes.
okay. And September 11th might be an opportune day,
Okay.
right? Just saying. Certainly would love to have you and 29 in attendance. And if you guys could do that as a fundraiser, I would like to see Al Fisher slinging burgers. That'd be great.
Do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving along, the second public hearing is ordinance number 2021-016, an ordinance amending subsection 9-1.3 entitled Fees for a Construction Permit. This ordinance amends the township fee schedule for construction permits pursuant to the recommendation of the township construction code official. We had the presentation at our last meeting. And we also, there was confirmation that this had been reviewed and approved. Well, this was the land use ordinance? No, it doesn't require. Yeah, it didn't, that was something else. So are there any questions or comments regarding moving forward with the adjustments to the township fee schedule for construction permits?
No.
Because if there were questions, they all go to Gina.
No questions.
Okay, so we'll need did we do a motion to open the public hearing?
We
Not
need,
yet.
Okay, then we have motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so no questions or comments from the TC. Let's open up to the public for questions regarding the fees or the proposed fees for the construction permit or permits. So once again, participating by Zoom, bring your cursor down to the bottom, click on participants, click on raise hand. Ms. Ray will introduce you.
no comments, Mayor.
Okay, seeing none, may we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will need a motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 2021-016.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson,
Aye.
Mr. Hickey,
Aye.
Ms. Moreski,
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez,
Aye.
and Mayor Jacobs.
Aye. Thank you, and consent agenda. We have 2 items on the consent agenda. These are resolutions of routine nature. Unless someone from TC wants to pull one of those items off for individual discussion. And since we do not see any such moves, may we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson,
Aye.
Mr. Hickey,
Aye.
Ms. Moreski,
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez,
Aye.
and Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
May we have a motion to approve the bill list pending review of individual invoices?
So move.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson,
Aye.
Mr. Hickey,
Aye.
Ms. Moreski,
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez,
Aye.
and Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
Bill list is approved. Items for new business, we had the JCP&L update. We just covered that. COVID and old business, COVID emergency, we covered those issues, DOT improvements. Certainly the River Road striping, the signage painted on Route 202, 206, that's been done. Some of the signs are up on Route 202, 206 northbound. I do have further inquiries with DOT to see when the additional signs are going to be installed. Also, there was an earlier indication that we were going to get similar arrows and similar lane markings down by Hills Drive. So I'm waiting on a response from them, but I've also thanked our DOT representatives for what they have done. Talked about anecdotal. So just at the farmer's market, listening for tires screeching in the morning, less to none, which is not what we experienced earlier in the season and certainly not what we experienced last year. So cross our fingers and hope that continues to be the case. Utilities, any further updates on utilities, Colin?
The only update is I'm working with Quentin Stevenson because DPW is working with New Jersey American Water because they are going to start a water line replacement on Deer Haven Road. That's about 2,700 feet of line that needs to be replaced. No surprise that we're doing a lot of replacements over the next couple of years because a lot of those homes were built in the middle of the last century, so those lines are coming to end of life now. So I will, I guess, be going to a meeting tomorrow with John Mass to just do the construction work. And obviously this all plays into the pavement management plan that Community Stevenson is so ably handling. So it all, one flows into the next.
Okay. And Doug, while we're on utilities, any updates on your outreach with PSE&G?
No, I've had some back and forth with the gentleman who runs the program, and we've been playing phone tag, so I got to get on top of that. I wanted to put together a more like a Zoom type meeting, a more collaborative meeting, as opposed to just handing flyers out and hoping folks fill it out. I wanted to explain to them what the process is and sort of reach out and touch somebody so they understand that there's actually human beings behind this. So probably September for that, but that's the goal.
And so for the audience out there, what Committeeman Stevenson and I are talking about is outreach with PSE&G to bring natural gas service to those neighborhoods that are not connected to natural gas and are relying on either propane or oil for fuel. So this is an opportunity for, once again, anecdotally, being connected to gas may increase the value of a home. So that could be good for our residents. Historically, natural gas is cheaper than either delivered propane or delivered oil. From an environmental standpoint, not having an underground storage tank in the ground and having natural gas also viewed more favorably as well. So if there's opportunities there to work and bring neighborhoods together to advance gas connections, that's what Committeeman Stevenson is working on. And while we're on Committeeman Stevenson, Pluckman Park, still the same.
Yeah.
Have you seen any action out there, whether?
No,
Still-
it's, there's really no activity now.
Okay.
The one interested party is, it didn't work out.
All right. Okay, we'll move to Township Committee comments. We do not have an executive session tonight, so we'll go through Township Committee comments and we will adjourn for the night. Committeeman Stevenson.
My only comment is, as I'm about to live it, for the folks out there who have students heading off to college for the first time, good luck to everybody. And I hope everybody does well, but we'll be the last to go since URI evidently is beginning of September. So I'm sure everybody's feeling it, but best of luck to the college freshmen and certainly the folks going into the high school for the first time too. So that's all I've got.
Thank you.
No comments, just to say, that's all. Stevenson.
Yeah.
He thanks you.
Committee Woman Moreski.
Two little things, just to let you know, the crosswalk was put up on Washington Valley Road that goes from Timberbrook into the hills, big bright signs,
The beach-
and you just hit the button and the lights will flash and tell you to stop. And they did do some rearranging with the painting of the arrows. So there's coming from Pluckerman, heading into Martinsville. The left lane is just to go up Hills Drive. The right lane is just to go into Timberbrook. And the center lane is the only one that goes straight up. And they did do the zebra striping on that right lane that had been there so that it kind of smushes you over at the crosswalk. Then it opens back up, but that is up and I've seen people not using it already.
Oh,
And I
no.
yelled at them because they're friends of mine. But that's up and functioning. So hopefully that'll be a good thing for the residents over there. And a real quick update, I got a picture from Dawn for the Bedminster Pond. I think we're on our third treatment already and the pond looks pretty nice. She showed me a picture of last year
Awesome.
with the algae covered and this year it's bright and shiny and clean.
That's great, because
So,
I'll tell you,
good to
it was
know.
just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
The algae was still there, so it might have been that second or third dose may have really sort of worked on it. So that's
Yep.
great.
So
Good.
hopefully next year they'll start a little earlier because now we have a little more information and experience and it'll be longer in the season.
And a commitment to move forward with the surveying that.
That
was
should be
discussed.
later this year.
Okay, that's great news.
Yep.
Okay, great. Committee Woman
No
Hernandez.
comments tonight, Mayor.
And no comments from me. So it is 8:22. May we motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good night.
Good.
Good evening, all.
Bye, John.
Bye, John.
Drive safe.
It's used to drop